Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Dr. Karthik Kapoor and I have completed my MBBS from BJ Medical College, Pune. So the topic for today is rectum and anal canal. In this video series, we have about 4 to 5 lectures that will be exclusive to rectum and anal canal only. The topics that we'll be discussing is gross anatomy of rectum, gross anatomy of anal canal. We will also see how the portal circulation is connected to your systemic circulation and what is the basic pathophysiology behind the formation of hemorrhoids. And we will also see how a patient presents with hemorrhoids or with anal fissures, anal fistulas to your OPD. See, these are your very common cases that you can see in a surgery OPD, so it is very important to learn them in detail. So these are the various topics that we'll be discussing in this video series, and there is a very different way to do a proctoscopy or a sigmoidal colonoscopy, so we will also learn about that in detail. Coming to the anatomy of rectum, we all know that we have a small intestine, the large intestine. The large intestine has parts like we have the ascending colon, then the hepatic flexure, the transverse colon, the splenic flexure, descending colon, and then the sigmoidal colon. It is named as sigmoidal colon because it is S-shaped. And then it continues as the rectum and the anal canal, that is the terminal part of your gastrointestinal system. Now the rectum, what is the function of the rectum? Okay, the rectum is basically used to store your fecal matter before defecation. Okay, once all your digestion process has happened, the fecal matter is stored in your rectum before it is expelled out through your anal canal. Now the rectum, you can see its anatomy. See, when we look at the rectum from a lateral side, you can see that it has a sacral flexure anteriorly and a perineal flexure. See, this sacral flexure, the sacral flexure of the rectum corresponds with the actual flexure of your sacrum. This is your sacrum, this is the L5 vertebra, this is your septum. You can see the curve, it corresponds with your rectum, and the rectum lies exactly at the level of S1, S2, S3. Over here, somewhere over here. Okay, and this is a view. We are looking at the rectum from anteriorly. Okay, we have the upper right curve, the lower right curve, and the middle left curve. So these are the three basic curves present in your rectum. These help for your identification of rectum during abdominal surgeries. Now, when we look at the inner aspect of your rectum, we have some mucosal folds inside, and these mucosal folds are known as haustration. We have one mucosal fold over here, the other one over here, and this is the third haustration. Okay, few books mention that a rectum has about 4 haustrations. Other books mention that rectum has 3 haustrations. So you can go with it as 3 to 4 in number, but the third haustration is always consistent. And see, these are your permanent mucosal foldings. Haustrations are permanent, right? So whenever your rectum is distended because of your fecal matter, these mucosal folds are still present. Unlike in other parts of GIT, when the organ is distended from inside, you see a loss of the mucosal folds, loss of the mucosal rugosities inside. This is not the case with your rectum. So these haustrations are present, and look at this. Suppose there were no haustrations, okay, then your fecal matter would have come down, and it would have gone down without any support. These haustrations are responsible to hold your fecal matter before the actual process of defecation happens. Okay. Now, what are the relations of your rectum and anal canal? See, we will discuss about anal canal in much detail in the next video. For today, let us focus on rectum and its relations only, and the embryological part of it. These are the relations of your rectum. You can see anterior to the rectum, you have a peritoneum lining. This is your peritoneum. This is your bladder in a male. This is a male diagram because you can see a prostate. This is your perineal membrane, perineal body, urethra. And this is your rectum, the sacral flexure, perineal flexure. Behind the rectum is your sacrum. So, rectum has anteriorly the rectovesical pouch. The rectovesical pouch, the name itself says, behind the rectovesical pouch is the rectum and the vesicle, that is your urinary bladder. Now, what is this rectovesical pouch? It is actually a pouch made up of peritoneum. Peritoneum is basically an epithelial lining inside your abdominal wall, and it covers the various internal viscera of your abdomen. Okay, let us consider this ball. This ball is an organ, internal abdominal organ, and it has to get embedded in your peritoneum. Now let us assume that this is your peritoneum. Okay, this whole covering is your peritoneum. Various organs, not only the rectum, even the liver, the stomach, the kidneys, every organ is embedded inside the peritoneum. See, now this organ, this happens during the embryological developmental stage, right? This is embedded inside the peritoneum. Now you can imagine some part of the viscera will be in direct contact with the peritoneal lining, and some part is not in direct contact and it is outside the viscera. Okay, now the part that is in contact is known as your visceral peritoneum, and the part that is not in contact, the leftover, the remaining part, that is your parietal peritoneum. Okay, so this is the rectovesical pouch. It is the most dependent pouch in a standing position. And okay, so what happens with the rectum is that the rectum is basically divided into three parts. We divide into three parts for easy learning, and the upper 1/3, the middle 1/3, and the lower 1/3 part. So the upper 1/3, it has a peritoneum lining over the anterior aspect and the lateral aspect too. And while we'll come lower, in the middle 2/3 of rectum, we have the peritoneal lining only over the anterior aspect, and below that the lower 1/3 of rectum is devoid of any peritoneum. Okay, now a very interesting thing about this is that the subperitoneal part, all the organs that are present below the peritoneum, they have a common nerve supply, and the nerve supply for that is, the root value is S2, S3, S4, that is nervi erigentis. Now, for example, you have a urethral calculi somewhere over here. Okay, you have a urethral calculi here, or you may have an ischemic pain arising out of your rectum in the lower 1/3 of area. The nerve fibers that carry the pain from these areas are the same, that is your S2, S3, S4. So what happens is that if you have a urethral calculi over here, the pain arising because of the calculi will also be referred to your anal canal, because this whole area that is below the peritoneum, this whole area is supplied by a common nerve, that is your nervi erigentis. And whatever the diseases, if you have any perianal fistulas or any ischemic pain arising out of your rectum, the pain will be referred to your anal canal, your urethra, your vagina in case of females. And this is the clinical significance to localize the pain. Okay, this is your peritoneal reflections. You can see in the upper 1/3 of your rectum, the rectum is covered with the peritoneum anteriorly as well as laterally. In the middle 1/3, peritoneum is present only over the anterior aspect, and the lower 1/3 is devoid of peritoneum. Now let's have a look at the embryology of the rectum and anal canal. See, this is your primitive gut. We have also discussed this in our gastroschisis and omphalocele video, that a primitive gut is formed of foregut, midgut, and hindgut. The artery supplying the foregut is, yes, celiac trunk. The artery supplying the midgut is superior mesenteric artery, and that supplying the hindgut is your inferior mesenteric artery, which continues as, yes, this is an MCQ. We will discuss about this in your next video. So our focus for today will be over this area, this. Let us zoom into this area and see how the rectum and anal canal development occurs. So we have zoomed this image. A very important statement for all of you to learn is that the part of hindgut that is caudal, that means behind, caudal means behind, the part of hindgut that is caudal to the allantois is known as your cloaca. Okay, now what is allantois? This is your allantois and it is connected to your umbilicus. Okay, it is a part of your urogenital system. It later on regresses to form the urachus. Okay, so this part, this is the allantois. The allantois ends over here. So this whole part is your cloaca. Okay, now from cloaca we will see the development of rectum and anal canal. We have the cloaca, right? Then from the upper aspect we have a urorectal septum developing. This is the urorectal septum. It divides the cloaca into two parts, the anterior part and the posterior part. Okay, so the anterior part will have a different development and the posterior part will have a different developmental phase. Okay, now this urorectal septum develops from above and then it descends downwards and it divides the cloaca into two parts, the anterior part, which will be known as your primitive urogenital sinus, and the posterior part, that is your primitive rectum. Now this is the urogenital sinus. That means it is concerned with your bladder, your urethra, and the the system that is related to your urine excretion. And this part is your primitive rectum. So rectum will be formed from this and also some part of your anal canal. Now what is this? This is your cloacal membrane. Okay. Cloacal membrane is basically ectodermal in origin. Now what happens after that is that the cloacal membrane impinges on this and it covers your primitive hindgut from inside. So see, we will discuss about the development of anal canal in very much detail, but just have an idea about this, that the anal canal itself is made up of three parts. Okay, the upper part, middle part, and the lower part. The middle and the lower parts are made up of they are ectodermal in origin. Okay, the upper part is made up of cloaca. The middle and the lower parts are made up of ectodermal in origin, because the cloacal membrane enters inside and it covers the anal canal from inside. Okay, and the middle part is further covered by another mucosal lining, while the lowermost part of your rectum is covered only by the skin. Okay, so the urorectal septum divides over here, and yes, so here is our primitive urogenital sinus and the primitive rectum. Urogenital sinus is related to your bladder, urethra, and the urine collection system. Now this was your allantois, right? Now, what happens if there is a persistent allantois? Okay, see, somewhere over here you will have a formation of your urinary bladder, urethra, and it is in direct connection with the allantois, which actually regresses in your adult life to form the urachus. So if this is persistent, you have urine continuously flowing out of your umbilicus. That is known as your weeping umbilicus. And this is the urogenital membrane. This is your anal membrane. It will enter inside to form the covering of your anal canal from the inner aspect. This is your primitive rectum. Now see, the urorectal septum has easily divided your cloaca into an anterior urogenital sinus and a posterior primitive rectum. Now this is how you can correlate this with your gross anatomy. When you see a patient in a lithotomy position, while studying the perineum, you can see that we have a urogenital triangle and an anal triangle. Now, how do we remember that the urogenital triangle is located anteriorly and your anal triangle is located posteriorly? From your embryology. Okay, this is the anterior part that is a part of your urogenital triangle, and this will be a content of your posterior anal triangle, right? See this. This is a diagrammatic representation of a patient in lithotomy position. This is your urogenital triangle. It will have the opening of your urethra, your vagina. This is your posterior anal triangle. this will have the opening of your anal canal. So that was all about the basic anatomy of your rectum and the embryological aspect of it. We'll be studying in more detail about the anal canal and its blood supply in further videos. So thank you very much. Study well and keep smiling like this rectum.